Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. So, Integrity 2, or not Integrity, but Artemis 2 is coming down, splashing down here any moment now. So, we're going to pull that up, share the screen. There's lots of people that are on both sides of the fence as far as like if this is real or not. But here it comes. All right. Hopefully that chute comes out. So it's probably some Navy SEALs on the ocean, ready to pick these guys up.
First series of parachutes.
There it comes.
And we're on drogues.
And Houston, we're visual 2 drogues out the window.
2 good drogue chutes. Next up.
We copy. We see them.
Next up, the deployment of pilot parachutes that will pull the main chutes out. Time to splash down 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
3 minutes. Wow. Started viewing it quite a ways up there. So the Navy SEALs basically are the ones that, if you look back in time, they're the ones that came in and
according to flight dynamics.
put up the like there's floats around the capsule, and they help the pilots get out. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm not going to sit here and wait for all of that, but a little bit of history here. So these guys went the farthest away from the Earth.
10,000 feet, still on drogues.
Passing through 10,000. Boy, I did so many parachute jumps at 10,000. Ooh, here comes the next chutes. Wow, that was cool looking.
Main chute deploy. We're at 5,000 feet.
Ooh.
Search and recovery beacon has been activated on Integrity. And we have 3 good main chutes. Good 3 main chutes, good reefing, good descent rate.
And we see 3 good-looking parachutes.
Sigh of relief. I wonder if they had a backup, have backups.
Cabin pressure indicates no need for hydrazine checks.
Integrity copies.
This is a perfect descent for Integrity. Its crew sounding hale and hearty on board. Time to splash down 1 minute, 15 seconds.
Hale and hearty. That's a good one. Beautiful.
Integrity about to complete a journey spanning 694,481 miles from its launch from the Kennedy Space Center back on April 1st, and a trip around the moon.
April 1st, of course, used to be New Year's Day. And then the French king several hundred years ago basically changed it to January 1st. And everybody that didn't agree with that was a fool. April Fools.
Passing through 1,000 feet.
So very close to touchdown. Splash, splash down.
Integrity, splashdown, sending post-landing command now.
Splashdown confirmed.
Copy splashdown, waiting on VLDR.
Splashdown confirmed at 7:07 p.m. Central Time, 5:07 p.m. Pacific Time. From the pages of Jules Verne to a modern-day mission to the moon, A new chapter of the exploration of our celestial neighbor is complete. Integrity's astronauts back on Earth.
So the next one will be a moon landing, which we haven't seen in quite some time. So, of course, the naysayers will say it's all fake, but...
And the landing and support officer reports the vehicle is stable 1. We still will be deploying the crew module uprighting system to maintain that orientation. A perfect bullseye splashdown for Integrity and its 4 astronauts.
So should be seeing some Navy SEALs jumping out of helicopters soon, or maybe they'll just come up in boats. I don't know.
The unofficial splashdown time, 7:07 and 47 seconds p.m. Central Time. We'll get that refined for you. That would put the end of the mission at a mission elapsed time of 9 days, 1 hour, 31 minutes, 35 seconds.
Wow. A lot less time. I thought it was a lot shorter because they said 10 days. So,
and we're configuring for very low data rate.
Very interesting. Where are those SEAL bubbles?
Once again,
slacking.
Splashdown occurring in the Pacific, southwest of San Diego at 7:07 and 47 seconds p.m.
Integrity Houston, comm check on VLDR.
Houston, we have you loud and clear on VLDR. How else?
We have you the same. We'll meet you over in post-landing.
Perfect communications established.
A journey. We are stable 1, 4 green crew members.
Houston copies all.
Reed Wiseman reporting 4 green crew members. That is not their complexion. That is the fact that they're in great condition. That's what that means. So stable 1, upright. The crew module uprighting system is being deployed. The 5 airbags being inflated through helium to maintain the upright configuration for the vehicle. This was a textbook entry and a textbook touchdown for Integrity. Reed Wiseman, Victor Glover, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen back on Earth after a journey around the moon.
All right. Well, that was fun. We'll see the rest of it later. All right. So lots of differing opinions of whether that was real or not. So my thoughts are it's real. So we'll find out, I guess, at some point, but maybe not. So other things we need to find out is what's going on with these former MAGA influencers that have now turned very, very, very critical of President Trump. And of course, President Trump, when that happens and he's going to acknowledge somebody as full retard, like I have said they are, he goes scorched earth, right? And he did today in social media post. Now I'm going to share with you this one little piece that I saw, which is very, very interesting about at least one or two of them. And I believe that these people are being paid to go scorched earth on Trump. And Trump is basically going scorched earth on them. For me, Alex Jones.
Here's what I found.
Tucker Carlson, some of these other influencers are pretty much dead to me, right? I will never watch them again. Whatever they say is shit to me, right? Merdu. So let's look at, this one little piece that I think is very insightful about these people.
He need to say, look, I'm a bigot. Okay, I'm a bigot. I don't like Islamic extremists. Like, if you are really heavily into Islam, I'm sorry, I don't care for you that much. And I don't care what that sounds like. You can call me a racist. You can come where the fuck you want. I'd vote for you if you said that.
Mockery of Islam. And no president should mock Islam. That's not your job.
He did.
for a long time, I was pretty silent on this entire thing, right? The Tucker Carlsons, the Megyn Kellys, the Candace Owens, right? For a while there, I was pretty quiet. I saw the comments, you know, asking for my opinion on it. What do you think is going on? I just sat back and I watched, I listened. And the longer that it's gone on, the more I am like sure that all of these folks are getting a fat check. I mean, a fat check. Really big check.
Yeah, I agree with Doc Rich here. In fact, I've come to like Doc Rich a lot just by watching this one video. He's spot on. So let's watch a little bit more of this. I think he's nailing it. These people have been paid.
And another thing, it reminded me of something that had happened before, but with Democrats. Do you guys remember when all Democrats were like repeating the same stuff all at the same time? It just would like randomly happen. I'm like, well, this is weird. And then it happened again. It's like, hold on, they just, this is coordinated. It was Democrats and mainstream media. And if you don't remember what I'm talking about, here's a clip of one time when they did it, when they all started calling J.D. Vance weird, all at the same time. Check it out.
Some of what he and his running mate are saying, well, it's just plain weird.
These guys are just weird. That's where they are. As weird and creepy as J.D. Vance. A super weird idea from J.D. Vance.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, it's quite weird. Just plain weird.
Just plain weird.
Just plain weird.
That stuff is weird. They come across weird, and then they start being weird. Yeah, they're weird.
Being a really weird.
He's such a weirdo.
Donald Trump and his weirdo running mate are weird. Deeply and profoundly weird.
They are weird.
These Republicans just being weird. It's just weird. It's really weird.
Republican weirdness goes even deeper.
He said a lot of things that are weird, a weird style that he brings. Weird.
Now, for these people, I think they should all be thrown in prison. All of them that repeat this stuff like this, they're talking points from the deep state. For me, it's like they're diming each other out. They're diming themselves out, right? When they do this kind of bullshit. For me, I think they should be locked up for the rest of their lives. But I'm almost as extreme as Trump, maybe even more so. But that's my thoughts.
Policies. Let's start with the weird thing, because it is a thing.
Just plain weird.
What was weird was talking about Diet Mountain Dew. Who drinks Diet Mountain Dew?
You ever seen the guy laugh? That seems very weird to me that an adult can go through 6.5 years of being in the public eye. If he has laughed, it's at someone, not with someone. That is weird behavior.
Weird and cultish.
These are weird people on the other side.
He kind of doubled down on his weird ideas.
I think weird is probably generous.
Simply weird. These guys are just plain weird.
Vance and
You get the message.
So weird is being generous for all of those people, all right? All of those people. And we've seen this over and over again in the press, where they all repeat the same verbiage over and over again as attack dogs. It's like having the same robots out there attacking over and over again. Should all be locked up.
And this reminds me of that, what you just saw there. What's happening with the Megyn Kellys, the Candace Owens, the Tucker Carlsons, the Alex Jones, right? The Alex Fuentes, like all of these different individuals. It reminds me of that, where all of a sudden, this entire group of people all virtually say the exact same thing. I want to show you guys a couple of clips, man. I really want to show you a couple of clips, and we'll dive into it more here in just a second. But I mean, literally, you got Tucker Carlson calling for treason.
If you work in the White House or in the U.S. military, now it's time to say no, absolutely not, and say it directly to the president, no. In case you're thinking about using some weapon of mass destruction against the population of Iran, in whose name we liberated Iran, we killed their religious leader for their benefit. Do you remember that? This was last month. Those people
Now, of course, the people of Iran are all, clapping and want Trump to continue. The rest of the people in the Middle East, unless they're part of the octopus arms of Iran, like Hezbollah and Hamas, everybody wants Trump to keep going and completely take down this regime. Now, moving into the weekend, guys, and my thoughts on this, I say boots on the ground. I've said this, boots on the ground, for weeks now. And I believe we're moving in that direction. I just saw a report that there are massive numbers of troop transports that are moving to the Middle East now over this weekend. Now, will it happen this weekend? I don't think so. We still have the other Marine expeditionary group that's still a week out. We have another aircraft carrier that's coming in that's about a week out. So this will be a buildup like all of the, Desert Storm and so forth. It takes a period of time for them to build this up. I think from probably some of these NATO countries that have basically turned their backs on us, we'll start to move personnel from those areas, equipment from those areas. I believe that it will probably come in through Iraq and also in the Kurdistan area. There's a Baluchistan that I've talked about in the past, where the Pakistanis may come in from because they say they have a pact with Saudi Arabia that they will support Saudi Arabia in an eventual crisis like this. The Pakistanis have been, trying to do peace talks. These people, the only peace they know is violence. So that's the only way to deal with these people, violently, right? Because they're going to be violent. This will completely take down the first leg of the deep state. There will be more legs to take down because it is an octopus, right? And some of these legs are in Europe. Some of these European octopus legs will be taken down as well. Now, some of them will be easy, like Venezuela and Cuba, which is coming, right? But some of them will be a little bit more difficult. I think Iran will be the most difficult, but it remains to be seen. We may have another difficult one with China. So as we move, and remember, China is basically run by the City of London. So the City of London has to go bye-bye. The Vatican city-state has to go bye-bye, right? And how does it go bye-bye? I don't know. It remains to be seen how that works out. If they just completely collapse due to like I think these GOP rejects, GOP or MAGA rejects, Tucker Carlson and so forth. They're just going to be isolated, right? They're going to be ostracized and isolated.
In direct contact with the president, need to say, no, I'll resign. I'll do whatever I can do legally to stop this because this is insane. And if given the order, I'm not carrying it out. Figure out the codes on the football yourself.
Like, what? You're literally calling for military men and women to disobey the commander-in-chief. Okay, Tucker. Okay. That is quite strange. Quite strange. Now, I want to show you this other clip because, of course, he went on a rant for Easter as well, acting holier than thou. How dare Trump say these words? Oh, my goodness. Check it out.
Who do you think you are? You're tweeting out the F word on Easter morning?
Yeah, because Tucker has never said the F word, right? Especially when it comes to talking about Muslims, right? Well, just keep watching.
You'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. No decent person mocks other people's religions. You may have a problem with the theology. Presumably you do if it's not your religion, and you could explain what that is. But to mock other people's faith is to mock the idea of faith itself.
So here Tucker Carlson is talking with Nick Fuentes. Oh my goodness, the best Christian ever, right? Saying that he dislikes Christian Zionists more than anybody. Yes, anybody.
Well, Christian Zionists, like what is that? Right. And I could just say for myself, I dislike them more than anybody, because like what?
No decent person and no Christian can mock other people's religion unless, of course, you explain why theologically you don't agree with them. Okay, Tucker, this is you back in 2006. Let's take a look.
He'd need to say, look, I'm a bigot. Okay, I'm a bigot. I don't like Islamic extremists. Like, if you are really heavily into Islam, I'm sorry, I don't care for you that much. And I don't care what that sounds like. You can call me a racist. You can tell me whatever the fuck you want.
Ooh, F word. So Tucker Carlson, when talking about other politicians, is saying, yeah, you should say this. Just admit it. You're a bigot and just accept any name that comes with it. Say that you don't like people who are heavily invested in Islam, who are heavily into it. Just say you don't like them. I would still vote for you. No theological excuse needed. I'd still vote for you. Just say you don't like them. Oh, but now, when the president, who I don't think anyone would argue is a Christian, puts out a tweet, and we know Trump is blunt. He says whatever he wants. People love it. People hate it. Okay. Oh, he's the worst human being ever. How dare you do that, Donald Trump? Even though I historically have mocked Islam, I've talked about the dangers of it, which now I downplay. But historically, yeah. Just say you don't like people who are heavily invested and heavily interested in Islam, and I will vote for you. I like that messaging. What does Tucker also do? Oh, he over-exaggerates what Christians go through in the land of Israel while downplaying everything that they experience in other neighboring Arab countries and even Qatar, who he props up. He says, oh, they're such a great nation for Christians where you can't proselytize as a Christian, you can't publicly confess Christianity, you can't wear a cross, you can't even legally leave Islam. It is an Islamic monarchy, and the people who are Christians there are predominantly people who are there as slave workers from the Philippines and other countries. They don't even grant them citizenship, and they have 6 to 8 state-owned churches for over 300,000 of them who are, again, all predominantly slave workers. Oh, but if you say anything against Tucker Carlson, you must be a Zionist shill, paid $7K a video. People wonder why a lot of people just don't take this guy seriously anymore. This is why. And I want to make this very clear to you all. I genuinely do not care, couldn't care less what you think about Israel. It is very, very easy to see through Tucker Carlson and understand he is not the man he used to be, and he is not approaching political discourse in 2026 as the man he used to be in good faith. He's just not the same guy.
It's facts. It's facts. And then, they'll accuse somebody like me of being a shill for Israel. You're just shilling for Israel. And it's like, what are you talking about? Israel. How about that? How about that? So because I'm calling you out on your BS, all of a sudden I'm kissing the behind of some other country? How does that even make sense? How does it make sense? It's so silly. But of course, it's their only defensive mechanism when they're getting exposed. Right? Bro, what has happened to Tucker Carlson? It's got to be studied, man. It's got to be studied. What has happened to Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, all of these individuals who I personally liked at one point in time? I very much liked a lot of these individuals, right? The Alex Joneses of the world. I mean, sometimes I thought he said some crazy stuff, but it's like, man, I kind of like this guy. He just has like a I don't give a F attitude, and I respect that. All right, Tucker.
So Alex Jones has been going full retard, and he just had Marjorie Taylor Greene come on, and the two of them together went full retard. All right. So, Megyn Kelly, she basically is, there's like this one thing with the whore of Babylon who like just goes to anyone will give her any attention. All right. So remember, she was at Fox, she got fired at Fox, she went to CNN, she got fired at CNN. Then she started her own program. A lot of us supported her. It's like, she's like us, she's starting from scratch, and she's going to build it up. And that's what she did. And now that she has a decent MAGA following, she's excoriating Trump, right? And so this is part of the bigger picture, a long-term game probably of her handler and all of their handlers. And they're being paid. And I like what, what we're seeing from Doc Rich. He's saying, 10, 15 years from now, we'll look at, find out how much they got paid, and we're all going to be stunned. I don't think we're going to have to wait that long. I don't think especially because Trump has some really good intel, right?
Awesome. Wow. I really like this guy, Candace Owens. Like, man, I would vote for her as a woman president, 100%. Yeah, I damn sure regret ever saying that. And so when you sit back and you think about what's happening, it's just like all of these folks have all taken a 180 all at the same time. Somebody's getting some money from overseas, from somewhere, some way, shape, or fashion, right? Because even somebody like Alex Jones, now he's calling for the 25th Amendment. Like, Trump is losing his mind all of a sudden. It's just like, wait, what? How is Trump losing his mind? Because he said he was going to blow a civilization off the face of this earth? Hell, I would have said the same damn thing. Hey, I'm trying to negotiate with this country. They're not negotiating in good faith. I'm getting annoyed because this whole situation is getting dragged on longer than what it needs to be, right? I've obliterated basically all of your military. Like, what are we talking about here? We should be having a serious discussion. Y'all not being serious right now. You know what? F it. I'm gonna blow you off the face of this earth. April 7th at 8 o'clock. If we don't have an agreement, just know I'm hitting the button. I would have said the same thing. Have I lost my mind?
Yeah, I have said the same thing. I've been over the Middle East for over half my life, guys. And they're savages. A lot of them are savages. These people that are in Iran are absolute savages. I've said that. And to an extreme, you need to wake up to this. Islam, like I talked with last night, I had Sheila Holm on, and she talked about how Islam, basically, and we talked about it very much in detail, about Islam will lie to you so that they can get in and establish themselves and then take you down. So for them, it's okay to lie, and they will lie, and they do lie. And I've seen it over and over again. They lie. And I've said all along that they're lying about, they're going to open the Strait of Hormuz, and we're going to do the right thing now. And they just are giving themselves a little space so they can build back up, get ready for, blowing more people, killing more people. We're going to have to go in and, stomp them out. So the Marines, I say, probably landing along the shore. We'll have some people coming in with tanks and other heavy equipment from Iraq, because we have a lot of it there. We took Iraq down in 26 days. From Baluchistan, from Kurdistan. We're going to come at it from every angle, guys, every angle under the sun. And we're going to have 82nd, 101st jumping in with all their gear. So it's just going to be a complete annihilation of this extremist Islam. We're just going to have to take them down. And once that's done, then it's like, okay, we got this handled. Strait of Hormuz is back open again. Next deep state actor, and it's going to be one after another. And at some point in the future, hopefully within a couple of years or so, we're going to have no more war, and that we'll have probably 1,000 years or more of no more war. And I hope forever, but it's been predicted for 1,000 years of peace. All right. But what does that mean? Do they come back? Well, if it takes them 1,000 years to come back, that's pretty good. Because, supposedly we won World War II. We know that's bullshit now. Right. We celebrated the victory of World War II. That's bullshit. Will we celebrate the final victory over the deep state? I think we're going to see that.
No, I'm just sick and tired of playing games. But you got these individuals saying, oh, Trump's absolutely lost his mind. 25th Amendment. You got Tucker Carlson calling for treason to happen. Like what? Hey, listen, if Trump gives you those orders, don't listen to him. Don't follow the orders. What? I'm genuinely curious how much they got paid. I really want to know. Kind of jealous, right?
All right. So the days of these MAGA influencers, Alex Jones, they're over, right? Tucker Carlson, they're over. Candace Owens, done, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene's already taken herself out of the picture. And now she wants to come back and, talk her bullshit from the other side. Of course, they all do that. But over time, she will be ostracized and she will have no one watching her, right? And all the millions that she made while she was in, for her few years in Congress, how the hell did she make? She went in with like, I guess less than $1 million, and she came out with like 10 million or something crazy, or maybe even more, right? Who paid her to start her bullshit while she was in, the Congress? Who pays all those congressional leaders and senators to talk their bullshit and do their bullshit, right? So we're going to find out, and they're going to be dealt with, and they have to do what they have to do to try and maintain. They get puppeted, they get paid to be puppets, they get threatened to be puppets because not all of them have been to Epstein Island. They probably have some seedy motel room, video that they have on them, some of them. So who knows, with all these people, they have to play along with the deep state. Most of them, they're gonna get them under their puppetry wing, and once they've done that, they're gonna manipulate them. That's why they do, these people, right? Very few of them have high integrity. They wouldn't be in those positions anyway if they did, you guys. Right? If there's anybody anywhere in any political position other than Trump and maybe a few other people, I'm going to be highly, highly surprised. Right? And when we find them, some of the ones, I used to think that all the GOP was good, and then I was like, God, I look back on that, I was like, boy, was I naive. All right. So, and I think at some point I'm going to be like, yep, they're all corrupt. Right? They're all corrupt. That's none of them good. And I would believe that. I actually do believe that right now. Right? So yeah, I don't believe Israel has control of us. Right? So some people do. Some people believe that Trump is being manipulated, in these jackasses that are have infiltrated MAGA, or trying to, probably because they're being paid, trying to instill that false impression and that false narrative. So you have to be very open-minded, going forward. Otherwise, you're going to get sucked into some of this negativity. Now, there's a lot of strange things that are going on. I did a show with Lynn Scott Hagerman. It was a really good show. Highly recommend that. As one of, I think, the best shows that we've done. And in that show, both of us talk about how it seems like a lot of people are just disappearing. Right? A lot of people are disappearing. And they are. I really believe they are on many different levels. And some of it, like I talked about, was, I believe, that dimensionally we are raising our vibrational consciousness. And some of these very, dark people can no longer vibrate at this level, and they're just completely vibrating out, right? And then there's more where we're seeing other people just checking out. And Elizabeth April talks about this, so I think this is a really good one.
Okay, so just a heads up, a lot of people are dying right now, and it's coming through either random disappearances or sudden accidents or an extreme health crisis. Just know that if your loved ones are taking these exit points, it is for a reason. And most likely, just putting it out there, I know it's a sensitive subject, but most likely that person is either A, not willing to change and therefore taking an exit point. Remember that all deaths, no matter how accidental they may seem, are chosen exit points. the two things in life that are the most predestined are our birth and our exit. So please keep that in mind, that is a soul choice. And a lot of people right now are either.
Now, it's also a soul choice of when you exit. So you may have decided before you came into this incarnation that you were going to exit at a certain point, and then like, I think I'm gonna go further, right? That's always a choice that we have. I believe that I have done that once or twice, and I think probably a lot of you out there have the same opinion. But I think that more people are definitely disappearing, and this is a very good commentary about why that's happening.
Coming into massive health crises, or they're having random sort of accidents. And within that state, they have a choice to make. Are you going to stay on this planet and change for the better and become the best version of yourself? Or are you going to take an exit point and essentially reset? So if they do have an accident or a health crisis and they stick around, most likely you're going to see a completely changed and different person for the better. There are also sort of more rare cases of people who are taking exit points, and we're talking the most beautiful souls, like the highest vibrational, the most beautiful service to others individuals are taking really random exit points right now. Like I said, whether accidental or whatnot. And it's because.
And this makes more sense to me now over time. Because I always thought that the most advanced souls and most beautiful souls were the ones that would last the longest. But it's the same thing. They come in and they do their work, and then they exit at their chosen time. And so it's interesting because, I found that some of these souls on the other side are far more powerful, and that's why they leave. It's kind of like that Jedi, thing where, the Jedi, dies in combat or whatever, and on the other side, she is more powerful.
They have done what they came here to do. And in order to avoid any further karmic creation, they are taking an early exit point in order to do the work that they need to do on the other side without limitation and restriction. Do any of you know of anyone right now, maybe you, who are either in a health crisis or have had an accident, or maybe your loved ones or coworkers or neighbors who are just suddenly passing away?
So I think all of us are seeing that, right? So I think it's one of those things that's happening. It is the sign of the times. As any renaissance of consciousness happens throughout time, you're going to see basically a die-off of the souls that either have done their work here, high vibrational, very beautiful souls have done their work here, and then they move over to the other side. And then you have souls that are, they come here for a brief experience, especially during this time frame, because this time frame is a monumental time frame in Earth's history. I believe we'll look back on this time frame and say, God, that was unbelievable. And they'll talk about this for 1,000 years, this time frame that we're all going through. And then you have the souls that are basically, just taking space, right? And not really doing much. And that's part of what they're here for too. Some clones that are out there, some NPCers, quite a few NPCers. They're just going. We're going to see less and less in the population, guys. I'm seeing it everywhere. So that's one of those anomalies that I thought that would be very interesting for you guys. Think about, contemplate, and maybe you'll start to see the same picture. Now, on the war front, we're basically exposing NATO over and over and over again. All right. So it is, I've been saying this for, I think, well over a year now, that NATO is going to go away. It will probably go away within the next couple of years, because it's a Nazi organization to begin with. All right. Absolutely, it was a Nazi organization. They have Nazis that ran it in the beginning, former Nazis that were As the dust settled and they kind of like laid low, then they came back, and then they were chosen to be the leaders of NATO. Yeah, so now we're seeing another Nazi, Keir Starmer, UK Prime Minister, pulls deal to sacrifice islands housing key U.S. military base, and Diego Garcia. I've been there. Absolutely beautiful little atoll out there in the Indian Ocean. Perfect strategically, and the British have played around with that for quite some time. Starmer was going to give it back to the Kingdom of Mauritius. He was going to do like they did with, stupidly, the UK did with Hong Kong, and did a 99-year lease from China, and then gave it back. And then China moved in there and just destroyed everybody's rights. It was horrible, right? So again, the UK, they established themselves, the City of London, the manipulators of the world economies, and they're manipulating China. So they did what they needed to do. They probably still have, some connections, I'm sure, in Hong Kong, and they work with the Chinese, and they're probably going to work with the Chinese to cause some problems in the world going forward, right? So this has been talked about for some time, seizing Taiwan or whatever they're going to do. So it remains to be seen how that works out. So again, this oil, it's kind of like an oil embargo back in, when I was, in my late teens, when they did the oil embargoes and the price of oil skyrocketed. And, after that, we went into economic decay for about a decade. So could similarly see the same thing or something close to it. I don't think it's going to last that long. But, every time the oil spikes, we go into economic decline, and silver goes to the moon. Silver, I believe, will go to, every time this has happened, the oil prices, and silver goes to the moon, it's a 10x to the moonshot. The last two times this happened. Now, this is a completely different one where I think the 10x is going to be way under what it's actually going to do in the long term. So anyway, I've talked about that quite often. Hope you guys are getting your silver. It will make a difference going forward because the fiat currency will go bye-bye. And then it will be backed. Some type of cryptocurrency type, I think, will be backed by silver and gold. And then we'll have XRP moving that very quickly within seconds and cost pennies. Whereas now, if you move money, it costs a lot, right? And it's very slow. So this is the future. Trump has talked about it. But it's in stages. Everything is in stages. You have to take down one thing so you can bring in another. So this is what we're going through right now. So taking down Iran is one of the stages, the steps before we can move on to greater things. All right. At some point, England will be no longer. Right. I don't know how England looks going forward, but with the City of London gone, of course, it's not going to be disappeared or anything. But with the City of London gone, and probably at some point, the Brits finding a pair and getting rid of their incredible invasion from the dark Muslim communities that were brought in basically to take over, to take down the white races that are in Europe and also in here in America. So this is one of the things they've done in the past many times throughout history. So we'll see how this works out. But the atoll of the Indian Ocean, he was going to give it away, and Trump is like, oh hell no, because they're in bed with China, right? You're not going to get that back to them for China, all right? Just like we're seeing with Greenland. You know, Europe doesn't want to give up Greenland, and it's the same situation. China is, you know, it's one of those steps that has to be taken down, and how that happens remains to be seen. But you will see China taken down, guys, just like we're seeing right now, Iran getting taken down. No one, all the way back to President Reagan, even President Reagan couldn't take down Iran, right? And then all of those presidents after President Reagan basically were deep staters. There's not one of them that was good. Not one of those presidents was good. Not one, right? And some of them were worse than others, and that was by design. So that, you know, the other side would hate them, and then the other side would get in, and then the other side hated them, and back and forth. Uniparty, guys. So that's why I think the entire political system goes bye-bye, and something else comes and takes its point. So it's not going to be, I guess Keir Starmer was trying to, his far left side of the government was trying to push that through, and it got shot down. Bye-bye, Starmer. At some point, you're probably going to be in prison for the rest of your life as well. All right, so we'll see, you know, how this works out going forward. But it is amazing to see this process going down. And if you start to look at it from a bigger picture, like I'm pointing it out, it'll make more sense. All right, so Fraud Fighter Summit. This is coming up 15 to 17 June. You can have anywhere from 5 to as much as 700 people attend this. Now, and a lot of you guys have already signed up for it. It's in my description box, you know, how to go in and sign up. I'm going to play this little clip right here. Matt Meck is a former Marine officer. He works with Juan O'Save, and I think he's his top guy. And they're putting on another great show.
Matt Meck from the Coalition joins us real quickly. Matt, I know you got an event. I want to get it up there and make sure everybody gets the Ahern Hotel in Vegas. It doesn't look like I can personally attend. I'm gonna come in by video right now. If I can change it, I'm gonna come up there because I love those events at the Ahern. It's a great hotel, great place to have meetings. Real quickly, just give us a minute description of what is the Coalition? What are you guys working on? What are you accomplishing? And then this amazing anti-fraud conference you've got coming up with a host of great speakers. So tell me, what's the Coalition? What are you guys doing right now?
Sure. You know, the Coalition started here, actually in Vegas at the Trump Hotel, 1 May of 2021. We had an initial Secretaries of State summit. And then from there, we've developed into this network of folks who are primarily concerned in trying to educate folks on election integrity, election ecosystem, right? We have folks from...
All right, so the election. Now, we're seeing fraud in everything now. We saw fraud in the election. That was like the opening salvo and the opening to us having a consciousness, come to Jesus moment that our election system is completely rigged, right? So you have to put in people that are going to allow the larger fraud that we're seeing throughout all these different governments throughout the United States, guys, and layer after layer after layer of fraud. It's not just, you know, like we're seeing in Wisconsin or Minnesota. We're seeing, I keep saying Wisconsin, I don't know why, but Minnesota. We're seeing the fraud in California now. Right, so it's getting exposed in state after state after state after state after Democrat state after Democrat state. But you know, it's we'll see it in Republican states too, guys. It's not just, it's the uniparty, right? So this is a progressive type of awakening to fraud, and this will help us accelerate that progression.
Hawaii to Virginia. God bless Virginia. and from Alaska to Texas. And that's been our main thrust. But what we've been now talking about is how this election fraud has enabled a lot of the fraud you are seeing in the stories now with James O'Keefe and Nick Shirley. So this event, 15 through 17 June here at the Ahern Hotel, is going to unite the front lines against fraud. We're talking about voter registration fraud, healthcare fraud, laundering Doge money clawbacks, bond fraud, mortgage fraud, property tax fraud, all facilitated by election fraud. And sir, like you said, certainly we're looking forward to you remoting in, and here in person would be great. And also another remote speaker is going to be Ed Griffith, the 94-year-old great author of The Creature from Jekyll Island.
Wow. Wow. It's one of my heroes. Now you're tempting me. Now I've definitely got to change my schedule and get up there. One more time, this couldn't be a better time. You've already sold a ton of tickets. I want everybody in the area that can attend this, all the posse members. You're going to really get in depth. And as you know, President Trump just read it the other day. This is why Todd, the new acting AG, came out with the new head of the anti-fraud division there. This is a major initiative of President Trump actually to institutionalize it at the Department of Justice. So one more time, where do people go? How do they get tickets? Because I want a big representation of this. Of course, we're going to work with you guys to live stream it, but walk us through the details where people go.
So it's very simple. Just go to fraudfightersummit.us. It's there. You are on the bottom of that flyer you see, and you can register right there. And we're planning up to 500. We're going to could go up to 700, and the great Joe Hoft is going to moderate for us, sir.
Amen. Fantastic.
All right. So as you guys can see, the window to get involved in this is starting to close. It's going mainstream media. There's still some good people out there, mainstream MAGA movement media. So we'll see. It's going to be quite the event. There's lots of people that are going to be there. It'll be. I've been to the Ahern a couple different times. I went there many years ago with Scott McKay and spoke at Scott McKay's event. It was really great. And this one, the speakers that came were exceptional. I've had a few of the speakers on. I have more in the future. So you guys are going to get a bigger picture of what's going on with this. The fraud, as you guys heard, it was basically allowed by the fraud that happened with the elections. And then that allowed the other fraud to come in and, manifest and manipulate and grow to an incredible level. So this is what we're exposing at this event. So it sounds like at some point, if you're not able to make the event, they may even live stream it. So it'll be pretty impressive. Now, more and more of this information is coming out as we're showing you. I've had these shows trying to bring as many people on, throughout the years to expose a lot of this stuff. Child trafficking, all of the different stuff that, we've been doing, fraud over fraud. And then, of course, raising your consciousness at the same time. So a lot of you, I know, you're like, why do you always talk about the negative stuff? Because you have to awaken to that so you can let it go, clean it, fix it, and then raise your consciousness, right? And then something else comes on. Oh, no, there's more. Yeah, because we can't raise in consciousness until we clean. And as we're cleaning, then it makes a space for the consciousness to rise. And then we see less and less and less people on Earth, right? Because they're getting cleaned, right? And they're checking out for some different reasons, like we talked about. All right, so this is something that Juan sent me. I'm going to read this one off. This is basically in there. It's there in Las Vegas. So we know that for 40 years the mob was there, right? And the mob, skimmed money. And then politicians saw, oh, you're making money? We're going to get some of that. So they pushed the mob out, and now we have the politicians that are worse than the mob now. And I'm not saying that the mob was good in any way. It shouldn't be any of that. But the politicians are far worse than the mob, right? The mob tells you that. The mob says, you know, the government's far more mobbish than we are. So, and we're seeing that. You know, the theft and the corruption and the, you know, fraud is just over the top. It's insane. And we're paying for it. It's bullshit, right? So that's one of the reasons why we have these events as well. Now, Las Vegas businessman Rick Saga targeted by Nevada politicians fleeing Doge. So Doge is coming in and basically exposing Nevada politicians. So the mob shaped the city's image from 1940 to early 1980s and held power and profited from it approximately 40 years. Now, the hundreds of millions of dollars made by the mob in Las Vegas are insignificant in comparison because the politicians are making billions, as we're starting to see in comparison. And in case of California and probably New York, trillions, right? So Las Vegas are insignificant in comparison to what occurs on a national and global scale in government and political fraud, the deep state, right? The mob's business model of cash skimming from the casinos was intense physical work. The logistics to move all that skimmed cash around were challenging, in addition to paying off everyone on the payroll. And of course, you know, some people that got little, wise to their scheme, if they couldn't pay them off, they killed them off, right? So kind of like what the government does, right? And the couriers needed to transport cash to where it was going. That was until the real bad actors uncovered the potential of reaping millions and even billions, as now we're seeing, in trillions, depending on where there are, and government fraud, right? How do we get government fraud? By having election fraud. So we put people in place that allow the government fraud and all the way down the line. The extent of government fraud was recently revealed by Doge in its examination of operations of USAID and many other entities. The child care money laundering industry in Minnesota, right? The Leering Center, right? Not the Learning Center, the Leering Center. They couldn't spell well. They're so stupid, but they got away with it. They money laundered billions, and they couldn't even speak and spell our language. Is also an eye-opener. Yet these items barely scratch the surface of what happens daily on a global basis. That's why we're taking down Iran, and that's why we're going to take down the city of London and China, and you name it, we're going to take them down, right? And it's going to be a much better world with the play. Because if we don't, then our children have no future. They're going to be, and at some point, in some places, they already are slaves to the system. And many of us are too, and have been. With the placement of an overwhelming number of politicians into stolen positions of power, the graft has increased. For example, how have Representatives Ilhan Omar and Maxine Waters become multimillionaires while accomplishing nothing worthwhile for the citizens they represent? Well, that's because of fraud. An example of how money laundering and corruption work in Las Vegas is the manufactured indictment against Rick Saga, who was listed as the second defendant in a federal indictment last year. Saga was charged with multiple counts of money laundering and grant fraud in a superseding indictment on May 13th, 2025. Saga believes that the origin of these charges in Las Vegas goes back to the time when Harry Reid, remember Harry Reid when he got all those black eyes and all, yeah, they beat his ass because he wasn't doing what they wanted, was in the U.S. Senate. When Saga filed to obtain permits on the second largest gold, precious metals, and rare earth mine in Nevada about 10 years ago, Reid demanded that Saga pay him $20 million So it's like far worse than the mob. You have the mob government, right? That's far worse. And he wanted 20% of the proceeds going forward. So imagine that. So gold, precious metals, and rare earth, and you're having a politician get his cut from it. What does he do? He does nothing. He's just, you're going to give it to me because I'm a, politician, and I'll make things difficult for you, which they have. When Saga wouldn't comply with Reed's request, Saga's family was targeted, as many of us have been targeted over the years that have pointed out this fraud from the government. More recently, after President Trump's 2024 reelection, Saga was again politically persecuted by the remnants of the Harry Reid uniparty deep state machine in Nevada. Many readers may recall that the defeated Biden administration frantically dispersed government funds to political friends to hide money from the incoming Trump administration and Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. A 375 EPA slush fund handled by corrupt deep state insider John Podesta gave billions to charities founded only months earlier. Georgia Democrat Stacey Abrams, who could never win or was never selected in Georgia, she had an environmental charity, which was less than a year old. So she started it. It was less than a year old and operated on $100 per month. So her charity received $2 billion. You guys remember that? I remember that. I was like, what? Right? The fraud is out of control in Georgia. DOGE identified $70 million in its review after President Trump's inauguration. Meanwhile, Nevada politicians scrambled to hide some of the $70 million from DOGE. Las Vegas businessman Rick Saga leases space to civilian and government tenants in his many commercial buildings in Nevada. He currently leases multiple buildings to the state of Nevada, primarily for healthcare related services. So right after the 2024 election, Saga was approached by high-ranking Nevada state officials who asked Saga to accept a $1 million payment to help hide money from DOGE. Wow, just $1 million? So remember, this is, 70 million. So they wanted him to hide 1 million. And so maybe they were like testing him. If you hide this 1 million, we'll have you hide 50 million. All right. I think they went around to a lot of people and asked a lot of people to hide money for him. So the $1 million payment was to be disguised as a 4-month rent advancement by the Department of Health and Human Services, corruption, for one of Rick Saga's medical office buildings. So that would have been money that should have been used for the people of Nevada in Las Vegas. Of course, it was just money laundering for the politicians. At first, Saga was told that this money, not his money, but this money was for him to put in his pocket for helping the state out. It's a little kickback, right? Like the mafia. Here, you help us, and we'll help you. Later, Saga was told that the money wasn't really his and that he had to pay their preferred vendor $999,986. So he's supposed to give that money into tenant improvements. So they give, and then they're going to take, and then more on top of that. So if they're going to corrupt you, and I guess at the time he didn't realize he was being corrupted, maybe he did, I don't know. The additional improvements at best were $150,000 to $200,000. So they want him to pay nearly just under $1 million for improvements. And I guess they were going to get a cutback or something. Saga was also told that the transaction was meant to ultimately be a campaign contribution for Aaron Ford, the Democratic Nevada Attorney General who is running for governor. Saga says that similar payments were being made to landlords up and down the Las Vegas medical corridor area. But Saga was elected to participate and said he wouldn't play ball. As a member of this apparent club of insiders, After officials wired the money directly into Saga's business account, Saga began expressing reluctance to participate. So they put the money in his account anyway. So he didn't touch it. And he says he's reluctant to participate. He received multiple threats aimed at both him and his family. Worse than the mob, guys. Saga reached out, and probably they employ the mob. So the mob got displaced. They're like, we'll keep you guys in business. You work for us now, right? Saga reached out to high-level officials in the Trump administration to return the money and trigger an investigation. On May 14, 2025, before any of this could be brought to justice, 20 FBI and HHS agents arrested Rick at his building, and he was indicted. As a coincidence, and surprisingly, one of the arresting agents was the HHS, one of Saga's major tenants. So stay tuned. In an effort to expose all of the fraudsters and criminal corruption, Rick Saga is running for U.S. Congress District 1 in Nevada as indicted Rick. So I don't know. Maybe he'll speak at our event. So that would be very interesting, right? So the fraud is out of control. The government is worse than the mob, way worse than the mob, guys. It's insane. So some of this mob, of course, is in the military, in the medical profession on a massive scale. I've seen it. It's being cleansed. But of course, those that do that get attacked, like President Trump, by all the MAGA influencers, right? So who's paying them, and how much are they getting paid? And they're all doing it at the same time. Very interesting, right? Very, very interesting, right? Very pathetically interesting, right? All right. So it looks like I've hit all my talking points. Let me see. Is there anything else over here? No. All right. The fraud continues, guys. Just because we're talking about it and we're exposing it here and there, it's hiding itself. It's continuing, just like Jeffrey Epstein. You think Jeffrey Epstein, once he was exposed, that was it? That's ridiculous, right? It's been going on for long time. And this is the way the people at that level of society, if you'll even call it that, that's the way they operate, right? There's fraud on top of fraud. And now they've, taken that excrement they live in and just spread it out all amongst us, right? It's pathetic. It's disgusting, and we're going to clean it up. We're going to clean them up. We're going to clean them out. And that's where we're moving. Nothing stops what's coming. Nothing, right? All right, guys. Lots of love. Stay in the love vibration, and I'll see you guys next time.